Now in this video, we're going to work on the second section. So this section is going to be right above the first, and it's going to start at the point of recession on either side and then down to the last section, which ends at about the temple. And the top, you're going to have a horseshoe shape basically that you're going to clip up, and then that's the last section we work on in the next video. So keeping the same pattern as we did in the first video, we are going to curl away and then toward the face and then away from the face for the third section. So putting the clamp over the hair and wrapping up. And I try as much as possible to keep the curling iron at a diagonal or even a vertical if I can. You'll notice with it as long as it is, I have to kind of hold the curling iron more horizontal, which is fine too. Wrapping up, untwisting, and then pulling on the hair. And again, when I'm pulling on the hair, I'm loosening it just a little bit with the clamp and my thumb, just so I'm not tearing the hair. Next section, curling toward the face, about 3 or 4 inches away, wrapping up to give it a curl, then unwrapping. Pull, wrap up and unwind. And you can tell again that those ends are a little bit stringy, so I'm having to go back through them a couple times just to get them to hold in the curling iron and take a curl. I really prefer curling irons for this technique that have the little cap at the top that you can hold on to as you're curling, the way I am right now. I'm trying the best I can to keep my arm out of the way. So typically in the salon, I would not have my elbow that high, have it a little lower, and just be controlling that iron by holding my hand on that top piece there. This curling iron is a little bit different because the top is slanted. I typically use the Paul Mitchell curling iron, and it's got a little bit of a bigger cap on the top that is a little bit easier to use. This is the first time I've used this iron, so it's a little bit difficult, and I actually burned myself a couple times in the video if you noticed. Hopefully it wasn't too obvious. Okay, so now we're working on the other side, and again, away, toward the face, and away from the face in 3 sections, and then we'll work on the top. You'll notice on each section that I take, I run my fingers through it, just kind of rake my fingers through it to make sure there's no tangles. If there's tangles in it when you're running that iron down, it's gonna show up in the final product. It's gonna not be as smooth and shiny. So I like to rake my fingers through, just detangle in each section that I work on. And before I even started, I had brushed through the hair already just to make sure that I had gotten all the knots out. And I don't think I mentioned in the first video, but I have this iron at 320 degrees, and that seems to be perfect. I really don't like putting high heat on the hair, and especially when I'm working on myself, if I'm doing my hair with this technique, I like the lower heat setting because I can touch it up for several days without the pieces straightening out from being overheated.